This Family Life News podcast is made possible by the support of listeners like you.
Next on the 5 o'clock report.
He's getting all the information in real time. He's in full command of his office.
We got 5 to 10 inches of rain.
The Supreme Court basically just said you can't mutilate underage children, and they're losing their minds over it.
We present our students with an experience of what it means to be a follower of Jesus Christ. We propose, we don't impose.
Now, let's go to the newsroom.
Good afternoon and welcome to the broadcast. I'm Family Life News anchor Sarah Harnish. The world was watching a single room today, the Situation Room, where President Trump was huddled with his national security team for hours, deciding whether or not to enter the war with Iran. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt speaking for Donald Trump.
I will make my decision within the next 2 weeks.
The president says he wants to give Iran one last chance to return to the negotiating table. Senator Eric Schmidt is on the Senate Armed Services Committee.
I trust President Trump on this. He's getting all the information in real time. He's in full command of his office. He's been very clear Iran shouldn't have a nuclear weapon. He's also been clear he's not for forever wars that we saw for 30 years with American foreign policy just sort of wandering without any real intention.
Former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich says after decades of Iranian taunting, the Ayatollah picked the perfect time to start a war.
The original Ayatollah Khomeini first started calling us the Great Satan in 1978. They have been taunting us, attacking us, harassing us all these years through all these presidents. And finally, they have collided with Donald J. Trump. He and Netanyahu are partners, much like Reagan and Margaret Thatcher were partners. And the two of them are going to change history decisively.
But lawmakers are divided.
The last thing we need is to be buffaloed into a war in the Middle East.
When they chant death to America, that means that they get a nuclear weapon. They're not just willing to use it, they will use it.
In Israel, a trio of Iranian missiles made it past the Iron Dome last night, hitting a hospital and killing 70 Israelis. 240 were wounded.
Took out windows, took out balconies in an area about the size of a block.
A new poll from the Washington Post shows only 25% of the American people support the U.S. launching airstrikes against Iran. New York and Pennsylvania are bracing for round 2 of severe weather this week. Central New York and eastern PA expected to take a hit after the Rochester area logged inches of rain last night. These Monroe County residents tell WHAM News.
We got probably 5 to 10 inches of rain here at the end of the road here.
This is the first time I've seen this bad. Yeah. I mean, we've had a little drainage stopping, but this is like a lake now.
In 2 years, this has flooded extravagantly, Every year, every time it does this, my furnace is guaranteed to be shot.
Firefighters responded to dozens of flooded basements and water rescues. Hurricane Eric has made landfall, walloping western Mexico as an extremely dangerous Category 3 storm. It was a Cat 4 out to sea just before landfall. Meteorologist David Parkinson.
It jumped from a Category 2 to a Category 4 in a matter of hours. Those are devastating winds, but the other problem is you're going to have a potential 1 to 1.5 feet of rain.
Trans trouble. America still absorbing the news that the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in favor of the state of Tennessee and its ban on gender transition treatments for minors. The Washington Post, Associated Press, and NBC News all have headlines today that read it is a huge setback for the transgender movement.
The Supreme Court basically just said you can't mutilate underage children. The states can ban that, and they're losing their minds over it.
Mark Thiessen was a former speechwriter for the White House.
It's common sense that you don't mutilate underage children. It's common sense that you don't allow men to play in women's sports. And we're now having a revolution of common sense in the country, and the Supreme Court just affirmed.
Calling it a major anomaly, SpaceX is investigating what went wrong after one of its Starship rockets blew up into a massive fireball during a routine launch pad test last night in Texas.
Whoa!
CBS News space consultant Bill Harwood.
SpaceX seems to be having more than its share of mishaps. The Super Heavy Starship has been launched 9 times today with mixed results. The last 3 flights in a row ended up with Starship upper stage failures.
Now to our border. New data shows there were 117,000 illegal border crossings in May of 2024. There were 8,400 in May of 2025. That's a 93% drop. Political analyst Gianno Caldwell says crime isn't the only reason Americans want illegal criminals out. Cost is too.
One illegal alien family cost is $1 million, and that's for long-term care and welfare benefits. Polling showed that the majority of Americans wanted mass deportation.
But only about 50% of Americans support local police helping ICE agents. And Roman Catholicism is making a comeback in America. A recent Harvard University survey found a significant increase in the percentage of Americans now identifying as Catholic, and the election of the first American pope is expected to give that trend a bigger boost. Father Michael Tidd is headmaster at an all-male Roman Catholic high school in New Jersey and tells Fox News young people are hungry for meaningful answers to life's questions.
We present our students with an experience of what it means to be a follower of Jesus Christ. We propose, we don't impose, and that seems to be really resonant with them.
He says many teen boys are struggling with maturity.
What it means particularly to be a man in our society, what it means to be a believing man, really resonates with our students. What it means to be a man is really a difficult question for a lot of young men to answer.
In 1 year, the number of millennials identifying as Catholic went from 6% to 20%. Still to come on the 5 o'clock report, pot pause in Pennsylvania. Elon Musk sues the Empire State, and you might want to go check your cough syrup. Those stories after weather with Kevin Williams.
Here is your Family Life regional weather forecast. Partly to mostly cloudy tonight. Gusty breezes subsiding, fog forming in some valleys, and again, still a couple of showers around. Low temps around 60. Tomorrow, less humid, a mix of clouds and sunshine. Slight chance of a pop-up afternoon thunderstorm. A little breezy. High temps, mid-70s to low 80s. Saturday, some sunshine and warm. Chance of a late-day thunderstorm. The high Saturday in the 80s.
Thank you, Kevin. Checking the stories making news where you live across New York and Pennsylvania. We start with the weather. There are wind advisories in place until 8 p.m. tonight for areas along Lake Erie. WIVB meteorologist Mike Syka.
Things could get kind of bumpy out there again. There is the possibility of a wind gust up to 50 miles per hour. It could be an isolated severe thunderstorm. Greater chance south of the city than up to the north.
Also a flash flood warning for parts of Mercer, Venango, and Butler counties in Pennsylvania till 7 tonight, with more pesky rain on the way. The legalization of recreational marijuana may not make it in the budget in Pennsylvania before it's due at the end of the month. House Democrats voted for legalization in May, but the bill failed to pass the Senate in committee. Senate Majority Leader Joe Pittman took a few shots at those who took that vote.
Why the House took such an unserious approach to such a serious issue is beyond me, but the way they did it and how they did it took that issue 5 steps back.
Pittman calls pot a non-starter in the budget that's on the table right now. Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman is among several lawmakers supporting a federal bill that would make it easier for victims of spousal abuse or abandonment to file their taxes. If passed, the Safe Tax Filing Act would allow survivors to file independently without needing to contact their abuser. We're learning more about the lawsuit Elon Musk has filed against New York State in federal court. Musk says New York's new hate speech law, the Stop Hiding Hate Act, which became law last December, requires social media companies to disclose how they handle hate speech, racism, extremism, and disinformation. Musk owns the social media platform X and claims the act is a violation of state and federal laws guaranteeing free speech. The law goes into effect this week, but Musk hopes the court will block New York from enforcing it. The Big Red is in the red. Family Life's Mark Webster explains.
Yeah, Cornell University's president has released a statement on the Ivy League school's cloudy financial picture.
citing hundreds of millions of dollars in terminated or frozen federal research contracts, along with murky prospects on future funding. Michael Kotlikoff says Cornell's short-term solutions aren't sustainable and that the university needs to reduce costs by reviewing and restructuring operations. He says that translates to job cuts through a mix of attrition and what he called involuntary reductions in headcount across the university. Kotlikoff says Cornell's experiencing, quote, simultaneous attacks or threats on every element of its model to do the greatest good. Mark Webster, Family Life News.
A children's cough syrup is being recalled. CBS reporter Michael Wallace.
MedTech Products is voluntarily recalling some bottles of its Little Remedies honey cough syrup because of microbial contamination. The bacteria in question can cause nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and stomach cramps. So far, no illnesses have been reported.
That cough syrup was sold in both New York and Pennsylvania. A new study from Penn State University raises concerns about chemicals found in private water wells. Family Life's Brian Query has more.
A Penn State research team found that 18% of private wells tested in Pennsylvania had levels of PFAS, or what are known as forever chemicals, above federal drinking water standards. They're called forever chemicals because they don't break down easily in the environment or the human body. The study, published in the upcoming Journal of Environmental Management, examined 167 wells over 3 years and found 65% of the wells had detectable levels of these chemicals, though researchers say most were within treatable ranges. Higher levels were more common in the state's southeast and near developed land. Experts urge private well owners to consider testing their water for safety. Brian Query, Family Life News.
Environmentalists are up in arms in Albany after New York lawmakers failed to pass for the second year in a row the Plastic Reduction and Recycling Infrastructure Act. Its aim is to reduce plastic packaging by 30% over the next 12 years. Former EPA Administrator Judith Enck calls the bill's defeat irresponsible.
I think New Yorkers need to know that it's one guy standing in the way.
Enck says that one guy is Assembly Speaker Carl Hastie, who failed to bring the bill up for a vote. Ken Pekulski with the Business Council of New York says it's a good thing he didn't.
Is this something we really want to do? Do we understand the bill well enough? Is this going to be costly and disruptive for consumers?
New York lawmakers have adjourned for the summer, having approved the latest state budget in 15 years. We're still awaiting action from Governor Hochul on the assisted suicide bill, which passed both houses of the legislature. And the U.S. Justice Department is investigating New York's ban on Native American mascots. Natalie Migliori has more.
It comes after U.S. Education Secretary Linda McMahon visited Massapequa High School, where she claimed the state's ban on Native American imagery in public schools violates the Civil Rights Act. New York's Board of Regents banned Native American mascots in 2023. Massapequa currently goes by the Chiefs, and their mascot is a Native American in a headdress. But the state says schools that do not comply by the end of this month could risk losing funding. I'm Natalie Migliori.
And this is the 5 o'clock report on Family Life.
You've probably given or received a gift card to a store or restaurant. It seems like a great gift, but gift cards do have a downside. Hi, I'm Rob West with the Faith and Finance Minute. Every year, billions of dollars in gift cards go unused. Someone spent real money, but the recipient may have misplaced the card, forgotten to use it, or missed an expiration date. That's money lost, not just unspent. A good alternative? Consider giving cash or a check. It's simpler, less likely to be forgotten, and allows the recipient to use the gift wherever it's truly needed. The point isn't to avoid gift cards entirely, but to give with intention. Choose what best serves the person you're blessing, because in the end, it's not about the method, it's about meeting a need and showing love wisely. Sometimes simple really is best. Connect with a certified Kingdom advisor who's been trained to deliver financial advice that aligns with your Christian values by visiting our website, faithfi.com.
Coming up next, the find of a century in a Missouri scrapyard. We've got that story after weather.
Hi, I'm Kevin Williams, and here is your Family Life regional weather forecast. Well, the last several days have certainly been interesting, if nothing else. Some super soakers for some parts of the area, from convective and tropical showers and thunderstorms. The passage of a cold front will briefly infuse drier air into the region, and that spells somewhat calmer and more comfortable conditions. Now, there'll still be some thunderstorms crossing the area this evening, and they can still be feisty, especially in eastern Pennsylvania, central New York. They'll fade. Otherwise, partly to mostly cloudy tonight. Gusty breezes subsiding, fog forming in some valleys, and again, still a couple of showers around, low temps around 60. Tomorrow, less humid, a mix of clouds and sunshine. Slight chance of a pop-up afternoon thunderstorm. A little breezy. High temps, mid-70s to low 80s. Saturday, some sunshine and warm. Chance of a late-day thunderstorm, the high Saturday in the 80s.
We will take it. Finally, at 5, what a find at the scrapyard. A group of workers in a Missouri scrapyard spotted a Purple Heart medal completely intact after it had gone through the crushing machine. It dated all the way back from World War II.
We get coins through this thing, and they're unrecognizable. I mean, quarters are bent in half, and this thing's completely whole. The ribbon's still on.
The workers used Ancestry.com and the name on the back of the medal to get it back to the family of soldier Charles Joseph Hall.
He enlisted right out of high school and wanted to be a paratrooper, but they moved him to infantry, and then went to Europe and was killed 6 months later.
The family had no idea that the medal was even missing. The scrapyard workers didn't just hand it over. They flew that family to an awards ceremony to return a nation's gratitude.
We wouldn't have this if it hadn't been for the kindness of complete strangers.
Making a difference, one small piece of metal at a time. And that's the world that we live in for Thursday, the 19th of June. I'm Sarah Harnish, and this is the 5 o'clock report on Family Life.
Thank you for listening to this Family Life News podcast. If you've been encouraged by what you've heard, please share it with others and click the subscribe button to automatically receive future episodes. Family Life is a listener-supported ministry. Podcasts like this are made possible by your financial partnership. Find out more at familylife.org.